Welcome to Quit to Win, the show where we explore the moments people had to let go of our destructive pattern, limiting identity, and the internal battle to build a life with purpose and clarity. Today's guest is Jody Layne, co-founder of Accelerated, Accelerated Medical Practice Business Strategy, creator of the Power Framework, and host of Beyond Hormone, the business of wellness, with more than 25 years in digital marketing and over a decade working inside hormone and wellness clinic. Jody has a rare ability to bridge the gap between great medicine and great business, helping clinics strengthen position, operation, workforce experience, and revenue so that more people can access the preventative care they need. Her path here wasn't a straight line out. She built a digital marketing agency over $3 million in revenue, launched a SaaS company that didn't survive, lost her mother at 67, and watched her husband's health transform through hormones therapy after traditional medicine had no answer. Each of these moments narrowed the focus until the mission became undeniable. It's really a pleasure and honor having you on the show, Jody.
Hi, nice to see you. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, Jody, you have been an entrepreneur most of your adult life with wins and failures along the way. What did SaaS company that didn't work, expert referral, teach you about yourself and successful agency?
Well, I think one of the most important things it taught me was that I am okay with failure. I
Ooh.
think that a lot of people are taught from a very young age that failure is wrong and it should be avoided at all costs. And when I failed so epically,
Yeah.
and it cost me time, it cost me money. I was in business with my husband, and so it cost us strain in our marriage. It was a lot. And instead of getting down about it, I decided to take a look at what I learned, what opportunities arose from it, and moved on to my next adventure. And I realized in that moment that that is a vital trait to being an entrepreneur, because if every little failure was going to get me down, I was going to struggle if I wanted to continue to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, such level of determination and the fact that if failure could let me that you're going to struggle. So you just look above it and focus
Yeah.
on, yeah, it's really amazing. And also, you grow Bonins and Murphy to over $3 million revenue in the early 2000s. What did that success quietly cost you? And what did you have to quit believing about growth before you applied the lessons?
So it's interesting that you asked that. So that business would absolutely be considered a success.
Yeah.
However, there was probably the strongest lesson I've learned so far in my 20 plus years of being an entrepreneur came from that business. And that was that when we started it, we didn't really sit down and do any planning. We were lucky. We got a great client on day one that brought us a lot of business, and we rested on that client. We were able to hire staff. We were able to buy equipment. And so we obviously sold other businesses and had other projects, but for the most part, that client kept us in business. And when tough times hit, we had no infrastructure. We had no safety net. We had no idea how we got from where we started to where we were.
Yeah.
And it caused so much strain on my relationship with my business partner that we had an epic divorce, because it felt like a divorce, even though he wasn't my husband, it felt like a divorce and it was awful. And I decided after that experience that anytime I was going to run a business again, I was going to start with business planning in the traditional fashion, figuring out who my audience was, what my message is, where I want to go revenue wise, the kind of business I wanted to create, and then create income projections and metrics and goals to get there. And I've done that in every business I've had since. And that's now a large part of what I do with my own clients in the consulting realm, is help them identify what do they want to be when they grow up? What do they want their business to look like when it's all said and done? And hopefully it's given them that clarity and that pathway to success the way it's given to me.
Yeah, this is really amazing. The fact that having to do business earlier on, just dependent on one client. I'm just imagine what would have been like. That means the client would have just woke up once, I'm not doing business with you again, and everything would have crumbled faster compared to, yeah, it's really a whole lot. Yeah. And also losing your mother at 67 and watching your husband struggle with health, issue traditional medicine couldn't solve. That is deeply personal experience happening alongside a busy entrepreneurial career. What did you have to quit or prioritizing in your work?
So actually I stopped being an entrepreneur. So
Yeah.
when she passed, it took a lot out of me, and I just didn't have the drive. I didn't have the energy. I didn't have the motivation. And so I went and got a job.
Oh,
And yeah, it was a really, really good
yeah.
plan. It was a good outcome. So the first thing I realized is I'm not fit to work for someone else.
Yeah.
But what it gave me, I worked for this company for about 2 years. I learned a tremendous amount. I got to see how this gentleman ran his company. I got to see the things I liked, the things I didn't. And it was, I probably won't go work for somebody else again, but what I got to see was that mentorship
Yeah.
and watching other entrepreneurs and other businesses do their thing teaches lessons that I could take me years to learn on my own. So that like pivot that I took away from entrepreneurship because of my grief really reset my brain, got me to understand kind of where I wanted to go next. And it's been kind of a nice up climb ever since.
Yeah, amazing. Seeing that platform of employment as a learning ground, rather than just see yourself as a co-ed player, it's really, really amazing. And also, hormone therapy transformed your husband head and open your eyes to the entire industry of talent providers who couldn't grow their practice up. What did you have to quit about where your expertise belong before you could see the gap clearly?
So I'm not sure what I had to quit, but it was a very organic, natural evolution how I got working with a hormone clinic. So I had an agency. So I left that job that I took
Yeah,
after I lost my mom. And after a couple of years, I said, I'm going to go back. I'm going to do it
yeah,
myself. So I opened an agency and I started picking up clients as you do. And one of my clients was a hormone practitioner. And obviously anyone who does marketing, they know that when you pick up a new client in a different industry, you've got to go do all your research. So I started reading, I started looking at the studies, I started like understanding how hormone optimization worked. And it was very, very easy to market this client. And so there was just maybe it was losing my mom so young and watching how traditional healthcare just wasn't able to save her. This was a wellness. This was a more preventative. And my husband at the time was suffering from a lot of different symptoms that we then found out was hormone imbalance. So his life changed. All the pieces were fitting into place. And so after working as his marketer for 2 years, I decided to join the practice and help him grow the business. Very organic, didn't really plan that. And after being with him for several years, I had a chance to speak at a conference about marketing and about building culture to a bunch of doctors who I figured could care less about what I had to say, but they didn't care less. They actually wanted to know more and they wanted help. And so I just started as a side job, like just as a passion project, helping different providers figure out what their business plans were, how they were going to price their products, how they were going to hire and fire their staff, like all of those elements. And I just realized that doing that, helping other providers, put so many of my passions together. So I was able to, I get very excited with other people's businesses. Yeah. I can really adopt your excitement. So if you want to build something, I can get really invested in. So that was number one. Number two, I'm a believer of the medicine and I'm not going to go back to medical school. So if I can help practitioners have healthy, thriving businesses, then they can help more people. And I just believe in entrepreneurship. And I don't believe that everybody learns or even has the aptitude to grow a business. Just like I don't have the aptitude to be a medical provider. So if we work together, then we can really serve people in the proper way. So it just sort of like checked all the boxes and now I'm on a trajectory that I don't plan on leaving. Like this is it. This industry is mine and I love it and it's really growing as well. So it's perfect.
Yeah, it's really amazing. Who could imagine that just a side project could actually develop into something? And now you're so passionate about it. You're like, no, I'm staying here. I'm not leaving. It's really amazing. And the fact that it just, everything now speaks volumes, all your potential comes into place. And you now see how different of those particular, it could actually work out perfectly compared to have you single out them working over time. It's really amazing. So while you were doing that or running business and helping those entrepreneurs out, what is the most expensive habits that you saw or you have to leave behind once you understood how to build a team in the right way?
Most expensive habit that I saw from myself or that I saw in my clients?
In your client, in others, and or in yourself?
So I'll answer both. So I would say that the most expensive habit that I have in helping my clients is giving more than I am reimbursed for. So
Mm,
a consultant, really the only thing they have to sell is their time and their wisdom. And I remember I mentioned I get very invested
yeah.
in other people's excitement and dreams. And so I found, and I started this company, Accelerated Medical Practices, for the first year. I found myself texting with my clients at night, having conversations on the weekend, doing Zoom calls whenever it worked for them, and didn't have any boundaries from myself, gave way more than the expectation of what they
Yeah.
purchased. And I love it. And if I won the lottery tomorrow, that's how I would conduct my life. But I don't have all that. So I
Yeah.
really do. I needed to readjust, and I can definitely exceed expectations, but I don't have to give everything away. So that was probably my biggest expensive habit. I think that the biggest expensive habit that my clients have is they buy or they start doing a product or a treatment that they know their customers need for their health, but they haven't figured out how they're going to market it. So whether it's a device like, like a shockwave machine that does erectile dysfunction or something like that, like they know that their patients need it, so they buy it, but they haven't thought about how they're going to sell it
Mm,
or market it properly. And so that machine is still going to cost them $200,000, even if nobody gives them any money to use it. And then it ends up going out of date, and then a newer, greater machine comes along,
yeah.
and now we have a very expensive paperweight in the corner. So I have been on a mission to get my customers or my clients to understand that if you're going to introduce a new product, a new treatment, a new service, before you invest time or money in it, you need to think about how are you going to sell it? How are you going to market it? How is it going to impact the rest of what you're doing? Because it's going to take attention away. So it's really being thoughtful about what you bring into your business
Yeah.
services than just going, oh, no, I know my patients need this, so I'm just going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. You've been able to think ahead to know how this product is going to help your customer, help, and seeing 2 steps ahead and seeing to what extent, other than just heavily invested when you haven't figured out how the outcome is going to be. And also for you having to kind of over deliver it. It amazes me that you're overly invested in any project that, the founder is
Yeah.
heavily
And if
invested.
I could throw one more thing in there in case anyone listens that is a medical provider,
Yeah.
pharmaceutical sales reps, device reps, all of these salespeople are really, really great at laying out the math. So if you buy this machine for $100,000 and you sell each service for $1,000, you only need 100 people to buy it in order to
Yeah.
make your money back. Boom, easy. And then you think, oh, 100 people, I have 3,000 people on my patient roster. That means it's only 3% of those people, whatever the number is. Like
Yeah.
the math always works. So, and actually this would be true for anybody in any kind of business. Just because the math works doesn't mean that you can easily get those people to buy. So you've
Mm,
really got to
yeah.
think through, how am I going to get the math to work for me? Because it's not, if it was just magic, like you just like wished it and it happened, then everybody would be, millionaires.
Yeah, so true. So true. Everybody would definitely be a millionaire if it was
Yeah.
to be the other way around. And also, you created the power framework of positioning, preparation, force experience when you are out of everything you have built, and broken and rebuilt up. What did you have to quit calling strategy before you could build something that actually produces predictable results?
Well, I think for any provider that is going to implement power, they have to give up that their belief or quit
Mm,
thinking that the first thing I have to do is get a bunch of patients. So just if I can give some context, the power framework is literally what I did in the clinic that I worked for 7 years to get it to over $4 million. After I left that clinic and started this practice, I sat down and thought about like, what are the things that we did in the business to get to that financial success? And they came out in these 5 different pillars: positioning, operations, workforce, experience, and revenue. But what I realized is that the order in which we did it was really what gave the success, because we didn't invest a ton of money in marketing and trying to bring in new patients until we had all the other pillars figured out. The foundation was strong. At least we had a plan for it. because when you market and you bring in new people in any business, but those people aren't served properly, there's gaps in their service, it's clunky, your staff keeps turning over, like all these kind of business issues occur, you're going to lose the customer. And so you're filling the pipeline, you're losing patients. So the attitude shift is to, okay, you got to do some marketing. We need business in order to survive. So do a little bit of marketing, but really take the time in the initial stages, or whenever you're hearing my voice, you take the time to do the work in those 4 other pillars to prepare the business strength to accommodate for the growth.
Do a little of the marketing and be prepared to do the other 4 part of it, which actually speak volumes to a whole of the whole things, the operation, the workforce, the experience, and everything. This is really amazing. And thank you for sharing.
Excellent.
And also, you have said that team is the number 1 product any company has. What did you have to quit doing as a leader? Carrying too much, motivating individual, magnifying by effort, before you could actually continue to build a team that runs without holding together?
So I think the thing that is really important to let go of when you're hiring is that you need somebody with the skills to do the job. I know that sounds controversial, so let me just back up. In the medical world, let's say that you are going to hire a front desk receptionist. And what seems natural is, I want someone who's worked in a doctor's office before. I want someone who has a medical background. I want someone who knows how to use this computer system that I have, this EMR that I have. But the truth is that you can teach people how to answer the phone your way. You can teach people to use software. What you can't teach people is to think and have a work ethic like you do. I believe that the way you hire properly is you sit down for yourself and you identify what values are so important to me that if I had a bunch of people around me who shared those values, we would have a kick-ass workforce and whatever those are. And you want to just pick the really juicy ones. Like, I'm sure if I asked you what your values are, you could list 30, but like, what are the 5 that you can't live without? Then go find people who share those values, who have done something in their life that is aligned with what you're doing. I don't care if they've never worked in a doctor's office before, if they've never worked in your EMR before, if they can use a computer, you can teach them how to use the EMR. So that is the big shift that I think we need to make as entrepreneurs, is to bring people on board that align with our values and then train them really, really well and then go from there.
Amazing. I think they just speak volumes to the fact that there are a whole lot of other things that can be teach once you actually more like on board new thing, but work ethic cannot be teach. So everybody you are bringing in must have a level of work ethic that's it's actually more like perfect for what you actually get to build it. And even if they don't capture the other part of it, they can be trained and be actually be deployed towards doing it. But for work ethic, it cannot be teach. And it's really amazing. Thank you for sharing. And also, you have said that you want to help build the healthcare system focus on vitality and prevention, not skincare. What do you have to quit accepting about the current system? It's assumption, it's incentive, it's limits before you could actually work against the grain of everything.
What we all have to give up is that your doctor knows everything. We have this belief that our doctors know it all. That is not true. Our doctors, they go to school, they learn about the body, they learn standard protocol, they learn medicine, they're taught to treat symptoms. In the wellness world, the way that you create preventative care is by not just giving the answer to the symptom. Like if you show up and you feel tired, then, okay, we'll get more sleep. Here's a sleeping pill so you can sleep more. The question is, well, why aren't you sleeping? And looking at the whole body to see what systems in the body are not working properly that's having you not be able to sleep. I really learned that a lot since I've been involved in the hormone and functional medicine space. And I'm grateful for that knowledge, because I know so many people in my family and my friends that just think, well, if my doctor says I should do this, then I should do it because they know better. They don't. They're just human beings that have learned something and they're making really strong educated guesses. So that's why I choose to work in the wellness space and will continue to do so. And unfortunately, the way that, at least in the United States, our kind of healthcare system is orchestrated, insurance doesn't cover that kind of stuff. So in order for you to go against the grain, see a functional medicine provider, a wellness provider, a hormone provider, you're going to have to pay out of pocket. And so that is a disconnect. And that's another reason why I like working with these providers, because them having great, really efficient businesses means they can charge as little as they need to in order to still make a profit and still be successful. But they can't do that if they're spending so much money on, on different vendors, and they don't know where their money is going.
Yeah.
And they're constantly having a turnover, and they're always spending money on training and hiring people and all those things in an entrepreneurial's world that kind of sucks up your expenses. So it's kind of a symbiotic way of looking at business.
Yeah. Yeah, amazing. This is really lovely. I started getting to looking at it this particular way. That's other than just seeing the other things. Yeah, seek care every now and then. What is the cost behind those particular things, and how do you get to address it? And it's really, really amazing having to kind of trace it to how it gets started compared to where it's going to. And also, what does it feel like? Feel like the first time a clinic owner see their practice as a business and not just a college.
What does it feel like? I mean, it's all I live for. Like, that's why
Yeah.
I get up every day, so that, one of the things that I think I'm fairly good at is when I talk to a business owner and they share what their vision is, like what success looks like.
Yeah.
I am fairly good at, okay, here is what it's going to take to get there. And it's when my client or the business owner can see what I see and it feels doable, that's really exciting. Because a lot of times when I get to talk to them at first, it's very chaotic. It's very confusing. It seems hopeless. There's no way I'm going to be able to do this. I don't have any money. I don't have any stuff. I don't have blah. But if we just break things down into small chunks, like do things in milestones, and they start to see that as a plan that they can accomplish, and they can also then see the light and see how they're going to be able to do what they love, which is take care of their patients and not worry about whether their accounting person is doing the books correctly or whether their marketing company is doing the marketing correctly. Like, when they get to experience all of that, there's just a joy on their face. That's a wonderful thing to see.
Yeah, amazing. Enjoying their face when when everything clicks perfectly. So lastly, you have watched money where a clinic stock under $1 million while others scale to 3 to 4 to 5 million. What is the single most consistent things that you see the stock doing?
It's a great question. I think the biggest barrier to any practitioner's growth is not being able to train a second provider to take care of their patients the same way that they did. And this, again, you can translate this to any business type. Yeah. So if a practitioner is loved by their patients, right? And everything is about how they take care of their patients, the results they get. And the only way they can grow past $1 million is to have another provider so they can have more patients. And there's no trust. But I want to go see Jody because I heard that Jody is the best. And it's a really simple fix. Honestly, there's a really simple fix to that. So anybody that's listening that kind of feels that strain, like, how am I going to grow because I can't duplicate myself? It's all about messaging. So first of all, you have to train. You have to hire the best people. You have to train them to do the work the same way. And that's like a given. But then the way that you communicate to the outside world, it's like everyone under my roof practices the way that I do. I am a person responsible for every patient's results. I even share how you do that.
Yeah.
Like in our old clinic, we used to meet once a month. All the practitioners got together and they would discuss complex cases so the owner could give his feedback. So be intentional about how you train and support your other providers, and then tell your patients about it so that they know. So, it definitely is a problem that I see, but it's a solvable one.
I think this is really amazing. Really just make reference of the fact that the person who started it out can be so good at it. At the end of the day, everybody who's coming around, that, aiming for that person treatment alone and not for the other person. So the goal is training someone else who could actually get it to replace them without necessarily having to kind of, being good same way and training and everything, so that they will know the difference. And at the end of the day, could actually have a whole lot of numbers of patients to get treated at the same time. It's really, really amazing. And thank
Yeah.
you.
And just like anything else that you do in your business, you need
Yeah.
systems for that. And so, we will share with our clients, like, even if you're really small and you're
Yeah.
so far from bringing on staff, that's the time to start documenting everything that you do, every touch point you have with the patient, all the different steps that it takes you to do all the things that you need to do to take care of your patients. And so if you've got that documented, and with AI these days, it's so much easier
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I
You
get it.
have those things documented that everybody knows exactly what your business's way of doing things are, and it can be replicated. And when you
Yeah.
can replicate, that's why franchises are so
Yeah.
popular, because if you go to McDonald's in one state and you go to a different
Yeah.
state, you're going to get the
It's
exact
the
same
recipe.
experience, right? So you should treat your own business like a little franchise, and every staff member should take care of the patient in the exact same way so that there's an expectation of how it's going to go.
Take care of your business as though you're running a franchise. Being
Yeah,
able to
exactly.
replicate the same feelings from one to the other and being consistent. Yeah, document it down so that at the end of the day you could easily pass it on without having to. Yeah, this is really, really amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your heart with us. So from our audience who would love to reach out, where can listener book a complementary strategy call and connect with your work?
Yeah. So just go to our website. It's acceleratedmedicalpractices.com, accelerated with an A. And we have a discovery call option, and it'll either be with myself or with my partner, Patrick, who is amazing. But I also, I always say the easiest way to get a hold of me is just email me directly. I am Jody, Jody, at acceleratedmedicalpractices.com. I love getting emails from people. I love talking to people. So if you don't want to deal with Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, my website, just email me directly and I'm happy to chat.
All right. Thank you so much, Jody. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Remember that the great medicine deserves great business behind it. And that the system supporting the clinic matters as much as the care inside. And it's exactly what this audience needed to hear. And from our audience, so love to reach out, check the show notes and see the link to the website and the way to easily reach out. Remember, stay in stock and practice that can't skill is never a safe option. Building a business behind it is medicine itself. It's really a pleasure once again. Honor have you on the show, Jody.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.